Today I fucked up adding my number to my mom's group chat. Yesterday my mom asked me to show her how to create a WhatsApp group on her phone. Her smartphone is brand new and she's new to smartphones. Her previous phone was only capable of doing the bare minimum when it came to communication and she was happy with that. Well, her old phone died recently and her plan was to go back to the early 2000s and find another bare minimum phone. But I was like, fuck that, mother. I'm getting you a proper phone that didn't have an annoying cartridge game ringtone whenever it switched on. I've been teaching my mom how to use her new phone for the past 2 weeks now. She's a slow learner, but she is making progress, which brings me back to the WhatsApp group. I talked her through the process and even showed her how to add someone to the group. I suggested that she add my contact just to demonstrate how simple it was. As soon as she added me to the group, I said, "Well done, Mom," put my headphones back on, and continued my online gaming session. I must have played for over an hour without checking my phone. When I finally put my controller down, I noticed that I had 28 messages. All in my mom's group. At that moment I realized I never exited my mom's group or showed her how to unadd me. I thought it would be funny to send a message in the group and inform my mom that I forgot to show her how to remove me. I never sent that message. I was too traumatized. It became clear to me that the purpose of the group was for my mom and her friends to share cake ideas. Specific cake ideas. Based on the messages I saw, my mom wanted a cake for my dad's upcoming birthday that looked exactly like her vagina. Not only that, she wanted the cake to be edible and somehow fuckable as well. Like she literally wanted a real penis to at least be able to penetrate the cake without destroying it. One of my mom's friends said that she knew someone who specialized in erotic cakes, and then asked my mom if she was willing to send that person a picture of her vagina since my mom didn't want a random vagina cake. Before my mom could respond, another friend decided to share an old photo of my young mom and a few other young people who were about to go skinny dipping. Everyone in the photo was naked. My mom was spreading her butt cheeks and mooning the photographer. The person who sent the photo said, "I hope you learned to shave over the years before you send that photo." This was like the first 6 or 7 messages in the group. There was a lot more to read, but I had seen too much, so I exited the group as quietly as possible. I have no idea how no one noticed I was there and I don't know if they noticed me leave. My mom isn't acting weird around me, even though I'm being weird as fuck, so I want to believe that I might be in the clear. That being said, I now know what my mom's vagina looked like when she was my age, and I now have nightmares of my soon-to-be 60-year-old dad fucking a vagina cake. TLR showed my mom how to create a WhatsApp group. Used my contact as an example of how to add someone. Forgot to remove my contact or show my mom how to delete me from the group when I was done demonstrating. Ended up seeing my mom and her friends casually sharing ideas for fuckable birthday cakes and a naked photo of my mom. A fuckable birthday cake? I'll just sit with this statement for the day. As soon as you leave a WhatsApp group, it shows a message in the group. I just want to say that I'm getting closer to 60 and I hope I get a fuckable birthday cake. Mom. Sends her vagina pic. Hey, I came out of this thing. I sure hope you keep your handle because no fucking the cake is legendary AF. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat meat? Loudly crying. Today I fucked up by responding to a not anonymous survey from my child's daycare. My 3-year-old just switched daycares to this large center and the vibe from the admin staff is off. They all seem so uninterested in the parents and never really even say good morning. Especially the director, who is the boss of everyone there. She looks like it pains her to smile. Think Mrs. Trunchbull from Matilda. It always gives me an uncomfortable feeling like they're acting like they're doing me a favor by letting us go there when, in reality, we pay $2,600 for my 2 toddlers to attend. Now, I'm known for being sensitive to people's attitude, so I told my husband and he said he felt the same. He agreed that most of the admin staff at the front desk seemed like someone has pissed in their Cheerios. Why work at a kid's daycare if you're going to be a grumpy F? Anyway, I think I fucked up and now I'm to the point of considering leaving. We got a survey about the center and what we think and I, moronically, thought it was private. I said what I felt about the staff and called the director out specifically. It wasn't private. The director emailed me back with this weird apologetic email saying how she's sorry I feel that way about her and the staff and her goal is to have a family-like environment. I was mortified. Now, I feel so awkward whenever I go in there and nothing has changed, but now I feel like they all know and hate me. I don't know what to do. This is so awkward. Too long did not read. I replied to what I thought was an anonymous survey from my kids' daycare saying I felt the admin staff, and specifically the director, were cold and unfriendly, and the director got my email and replied to me, and now everything is weird. Trust your gut and find another childcare. Never assume surveys are anonymous. Work for a major corporation and one person wrote something negative about their team in the year-end corporate-wide survey only to be called in by their boss to discuss the feedback. When she pointed out to HR that the survey was supposed to be anonymous, all HR replied was that their boss wasn't supposed to tell her that they knew she wrote the response. I would hope for $2,600 a month you could find a new daycare. This is a business, not a family. You are paying a lot of money for a service, and it's perfectly reasonable to make your concerns known to those who run the place. If they can't handle your honesty, then fuck them. I agree about trusting your gut, but you may have done her and her staff a favor. Sometimes an unpleasant person needs to hear that they are unpleasant. Today I fucked up by asking my wife what she would do if I slapped her across the face. I was working from home and went downstairs to the kitchen to make a cup of tea. I'd been concentrating on work and took the opportunity to briefly switch off and rest my mind for a bit. As I was walking down the stairs, I wondered what it would be like to slap someone across the face. There was no particular reason or context to this thought. I could just have easily wondered what it would be like to fill some wellies with tomato soup and walk down the street wearing them. My wife was in the kitchen making her lunch, and without any consideration or thought, as I walked in I straight up asked her, "What would you do if I slapped you across the face?" She replied to say that's very mean, started crying, and left the room. I'm going to take from that response that she wouldn't be too chuffed if I did slap her. Still not on proper speaking terms, I've got some making up to do. For the record, I've never slapped her, or anyone for that matter, and have no intention of ever doing so. TLDR, I asked my wife what she would do if I slapped her across the face and she started crying. Just asked my wife what she'd do if I slapped her in the face. She instantly responded, "What would you do if I stabbed you in the heart while you slept?" You let the intrusive thoughts win op. Seems like you should have asked her about the tomato soup and wellies instead. Just because you have a question doesn't mean you should find out the answer. A lot of people in here outing how poor of a relationship they have. I can understand that response if there was no prior discussion, no preamble to the question. My wife and I discuss lots of things like this, but it's kind of a rolling conversation and we make sure both are aware of the context. Out of the blue, with no knowledge of her past or experiences, this could certainly trigger or cause things such as PTSD. At the very least, it would be a hell of a surprise for her to hear. I hope you guys work this out and talk. Communication is so important. TIFU, by playing with my housemate's toys. So for Christmas my housemate was give a giant dildo as a gag gift. It is like the size of my arm and I'm a fully grown adult man. I think it is the greatest thing ever. I have pulled it out at every house party we have had since. It also comes equipped with suction cup base. And #X200B. A spirited argument between my friends who are engineers erupted. Would the suction cup hold the weight of the magnificent dildo? At this point everyone in the room became engrossed at the debate. So I grabbed it and rammed it onto the fridge as hard as possible. And it stuck. Everyone cheered and we had a drink. Then we had more drinks and more drinks. And #X200B. So this morning I wake up dusty, and I go to get like some water, ibuprofen and a Baraka. As I enter the kitchen, the next thing I know I am on the floor. I'm staring up at a solid 2 femaled of silicone bobbing up and down above me. Turns out the suction held all night and even after I collided with the large intruder. So I have just done the old cockslap coat hanger. I said, "Where the fuck did that come from?" and instantly remembered that I was in fact the mastermind. So now not only do I have a bruised ego, I have a bruised eye. And #X200B. Too long did not read. I put a giant dildo on the fridge, forgot, got drunk, and now sober walked straight into it. I was very prepared for this to go in a completely different direction, so this was actually quite pleasant to read. Thanks for that. I have to know the layout of this kitchen where you can be clotheslined by something stuck to the fridge before you see it. I'm glad this did not end up the way I thought it would. The internet has ruined me. Well, to be fair, there's a lot worse ways to be injured by that. Wait, what? The Tarzan? I was expecting a much different story. Thank you for not telling me that story.